Good morning, and a very warm welcome to the presentation of the finalists for the Teaching and Learning Awards. My name is Mansi Sharma, and I'm an education developer and trainer at the Ghent University, and I feel very fortunate to be here. My allegiance to the ENLIGHT Alliance goes as long back as my association with Ghent University. My first role within Ghent University was to develop trainings for ENLIGHT about 3 years ago. For this reason, and for the fantastic associations within the network, I feel it's a privilege to be able to moderate this event, one that celebrates inspiring teaching practices across the network of our universities. I'll get to introducing the nominees in a moment, but first, a really quick dip into what are the ENLIGHT education principles. So I'd like to set the stage with the ENLIGHT competence framework. You see it here on the right, on the screen. And of course, we are all familiar with it, but a little bit of a recap. For us, it is important that the students who graduate from the ENLIGHT network are really T-shaped professionals, which means that not only are they subject matter experts, but as well have competencies that are transversal and can take on the challenges of the 21st century. And to guide this vision, I'll just quickly show you the framework and explain. It may look a little complicated here, but it's quite simple. The last concentric circle, the last circle, the outer circle here, represents all the transversal skills that a student is supposed to, student is supposed to embrace. The concentric circle here shows the approaches, various approaches that we take on in the ENLIGHT network to realize some of these competencies. They can be transdisciplinarity, intercultural learning, collaboration, research orientation, challenge-based education, which is my favorite topic as well. And at the heart of it all is really the 21st century challenges. So really the flagship domains that we work on. So equity, health, digitalization, climate change, and creativity. So these are all our flagship domains. And this framework, it may seem like theory, but it's not. We try and realize them in our courses, in our education, and across courses, across programs in our partner universities, in online, in blended, and in on-campus formats. So in short, ENLIGHT education is about bringing the classroom closer to the real world and preparing our students to thrive in it. So now we get on to the rest of the session, which is the most important part of the session. We'd like to begin with the finalists, but before that, I'd like to take a moment to recognize all the nominees for this award, because they're essentially all winners. Apart from the 3 finalists who are seated here, we'll meet shortly the 7 other nominees who have contributed in these outstanding teaching practices. So I announce the course names in alphabetical order, and please feel free to cheer all of them on. So, and if there's someone who's from the course, please feel free to also stand up so we can all see you. So from the University of Basque Country, AI and Law, Technical and Legal Challenges. Is there someone from the course? Yes, that's it. Yeah. From the University of Bordeaux, Making Certif ISO 9001, Engaging for Students and Professionals Taught Through Serious Gaming. Congratulations. Comenius University Legal Aid Studies. University of Galway, The History of Small Nations in Modern Europe. Thank you, keep the applause going. University of Göttingen, the Göttingen Biophysics Hackathon Series. Congratulations. University of Tartu, Human Resource Management and Organizational Behavior. and I'm sure you'll cheer very loudly for this one. Uppsala University, an interdisciplinary approach to brain health. Okay, thank you so much for giving our warm congratulations to all the nominees. And now I would introduce the jury and the format. We have a wonderful student jury who has worked, who will work also over the course of the day in deliberating over the results. But first, how the session will work. So on the stage, we are joined by the 3 finalists. So congratulations to you all. I'll introduce them and give them an opportunity to introduce their course as well. And next to them are 3 student jury members who have prepared questions for the finalists. So we'll eventually, once we hear the presentations, they'll pose questions that they have already prepared altogether. And yeah, I think it's time that we can begin. So first, I'd like to invite the first finalist is University of Bern. So I request the lecturer to come up, introduce herself and her course.
Thank you so much.
And just
Good morning, everyone. And thank you so much for having me here, representing my team. My name is Lara Lundsgaard-Hansen. I am I would say a sustainability scientist. My background is in geography and sustainable development, and I work for the Center for Development and Environment at the University of Bern. Good, yeah, thanks a lot. So it's my great honor to present to you our master's seminar with the title, Be Fair, Contextually Aware and Conflict Sensitive in Intercultural and Intercontextual Collaborations. As I said, we are in a discipline of sustainability science, and we work a lot in international research projects. Most of them include countries from the global north and the global south, and therefore intercultural. Let me take you to Myanmar in the year 2017. That's a real story that I experienced myself when I was a PhD student. So we need to know in Myanmar, the ethnic groups, they have tensions among each other. And when we were, it's not working. It's just changing here, but not there, I realize. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. So we were there. I was with my research colleague, a young woman from Myanmar, and we were in the middle of nowhere in some villages doing... Yes, thanks a lot. Yeah. Doing research on agriculture. And we were in there on that day in a poor family household, farmers, doing an interview in such kind of situation when all of a sudden a drunk soldier comes in from the other ethnic group. Obviously, he was looking for making troubles. Most likely he would have threatened the family, but then he saw us. And being a white person was like an alien to him, I would assume. So he was really surprised and asking, "What do you do here?" And I was just a PhD student. How do I react? And we need to know, having a white skin in Myanmar makes you being senior. Whether you are senior or not, you are perceived as senior. So all eyes were on me. How would I now answer that question? I knew everyone is really vulnerable in that room, me the least. If I give the wrong answer, that could be a bit of a nasty situation. Luckily, everything went well, but these kind of situations, they happen to our students again and again and again, from quite severe to not so severe. And what we would like to address with that seminar are stories like that. We want to raise the awareness of what can happen, make them reflect on beauty and challenges of intercultural collaborations, that they also get some practical knowledge and tools, they develop ideas and strategies. We are a team of 4 core teachers. So last year it was, besides me, it was also John, Sarah and Sachi. Very unfortunately, we lost John this year due to a tragic incident. He left a huge gap, and we're really still very sad that we lost him. Fortunately, another wonderful person, he stepped in now, so Javier is now part of our team. But it's not just the 4 of us, we also have very nice other co-teachers who come punctually and they provide the knowledge from academia and outside of academia. I would like to give you a very brief overview of how we organized that seminar. So basically we have 2 parallel activities, and one are the thematic workshops along these 6 themes that you can see here. We have interactive workshops, we have challenge-based learning, problem-based learning, we use case studies, and the students, they write their individual learning journal along the 6 themes. The other line is that they have their own projects. So they develop an imaginary intercultural research project, and for this one they work in teams or alone. They can choose the topic freely. We try to accompany them as much as we can. They have 2 final outputs. One is a written document in which they explain what they would plan for that intercultural collaboration, and the other is, and I think that's the highlight of that seminar, is an artistic piece, where that they demonstrate in an exhibition. Just to give you a very few glimpses on such impressions, one group, they chose to work on people being traumatized after natural hazards in Hawaii, and they tried to combine Western and indigenous approaches to psychotherapy. And they wrote about that, and then they demonstrated that with a role play, and they also took in spontaneously other students to help in that role play. Really fantastic. Another student, he would like to work on rebuilding the Ukraine, having a vision for the refugees, and what he tried to demonstrate here is like making an interview with refugees could be like walking on a field of mines. If you ask the wrong question, it could re-traumatize the people. And how do you deal with that situation? Another group made a fantastic game out of their project on the education sector in Brazil, and they made a snakes and ladders game, inventing 4 characters with different skin color, different gender, different language abilities. And you would either advance quicker or have setbacks, depending on these social identities. And the final impression I'd like to share is this one, a student who has a double nationality between Switzerland and Romania. She invented a project that she would actually really like to implement on agriculture and desertification, but then the exhibition was something quite different. She wanted to show with a video how she, as a double national person, would go through very strong emotions when doing that research, from belonging to that country but also not belonging to them, and how difficult that would be for her. And with this, I would like to close and thank in the name of the entire team and for having the chance to present here. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for that presentation. And now I'd like to give the floor to the student jury. And they have some questions prepared for you. So are you prepared?
I hope so.
Okay. So, yeah. Why don't you introduce yourself first, which university you come from, and then you can shoot.
Okay. So, hi, everyone. I'm Sonja, and from Comenius University in Bratislava. And thank you very much for your inspiring presentation, and I will ask you 2 questions. The first one is, what surprised you the most as a lecturers about the way students reflected on and applied knowledge from workshops into their projects?
Thanks a lot. I received these questions beforehand, so I could think a lot about that question. What surprised me the most is actually that they really identified themselves with specific characters in these projects. And I was really surprised how well they could imagine being in such situations and how appropriately and like really practical ideas they developed on that and how dedicated they were. Also, those that were really scared of that exhibition, then they finally made fantastic pieces. Yeah, so that surprised me really a lot. Their strength, yeah, of doing that. Yeah. Oh, may I add another one? May I add another point? Or should we move on?
Can I ask the second question?
Move on.
Okay, thank you. And the second one is, because it's really
it's not very, the acoustics are not so clear on the stage, which is why there's this. It's okay. Yeah, I think she's asking for the second question. Yeah, okay, go for it.
Okay, so thank you very much. And the second question is, how can a teacher create an environment where students feel motivated to ask questions and explore and making them learning meaningful and memorable?
Thanks a lot. I actually really like that question because I think it's an important one. I think there are like basic things like having a good room where you can move the tables around that fits the purpose of the class, and also not having huge classes of hundreds of students. But then also what I think is important are two more things. One is that it's important to capture their interest at the beginning. Make it relevant for them, maybe that they can connect to some knowledge that they or experience they already have and build on that, and that they can also be creative. But what I think is quite underestimated often is more the relationship between students and teachers, and that's something that I'm trying to also strengthen in my classes. I try to really know their names, for example. I want that we have good atmosphere where you can laugh also about something, that I provide feedback. I take them serious and ask them, how do you feel today? And if they don't feel that well, that I react on this, that this relationship, a professional but caring relationship, I think that's so important for creating this atmosphere. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Yeah, with that, we can round up the presentation of the first finalist. Okay, super. I'm going to change the presentation in a moment, but I wanted to mention that there are a few jury members also sitting in the audience. So, yeah. Okay, so our second finalist comes from Ghent University, which is my home university. I'd like to request the lecturer to introduce the course and introduce themselves, of course. I'm going to put up your presentation. Yes.
Yes. Yes, there it is. Okay. Thank you. Good morning. I think it's impressive to stand here in the big auditorium. Welcome, Uppsala. But I would like to take you to another location, and that's the picture on the slides. That's one of the core locations that we study in the course of the integrated project. And it reminds me also of one of the quotes of students. We arrived there the first time in August 2021, in the middle of Corona, which was traveling at that time was really an expedition. And I remember one of the students standing there looking at the landscape was saying, I still don't remember and don't realize that I'm here to work, because for them it really felt like a travel, like a long journey. And so both the picture and the quote of that student also point for me why this course is so relevant for them. First, we travel kind of a long way to work in an extraordinary place like this, which they don't know, with different geographies and different cultures. But on the other hand, the course is also fun for them, and they really enjoy it, have fun together, and they experience a lot. It's a course. I will give you 5 arguments why we think that the course is essential in the Master of Geography. First of all, it is transdisciplinary in nature. And it also is related with geography, because in geography, we study environment as the one on the left-hand side of the slides. And we try to understand how the physical processes created those landscapes, those areas, together also through cultural processes, and how people and society, how they use their agencies to create and module that environment. So in the degrees of geography, we both need backgrounds and theories and knowledges from natural sciences on the one hand and social sciences. So within geography, it's kind of intrinsic to do this and to combine all the different aspects. On the right-hand side, you see the different, in the colors, the different domains within geography, and the students, they're really trained in them. They get a lot of lectures in this, and the lecture team that are joining, we are also kind of interdisciplinary because we have multiple and comparable or complementary expertises. And that creates an atmosphere that also encourages students to discuss topics and to study and propose them. Second, they really own their own learning process. And I think they don't realize it. When we say, well, you know, we will design the course together with you, they think, what are they asking? I'm just sitting here and you will tell me what to do. No, that's not what we do. So in the beginning, we start with introducing the area. They don't know the geographical region where we are going to, but we have online lectures with our colleagues from the international universities. They prepare the work, they start formulating the research gaps, they create the groups by themselves, and they also define the teams by themselves. We just stimulate the process and also give them the tools at hand that they still need. I think the core block of this course is the travel to in this way to Denmark, but it could also be any other place. And I think there, the real-life experience of going into the field, do the field work, getting introduced to the area, not only by us, but also by our international colleagues from the other universities, that is really a nice experience. And they learn extremely a lot from that, because they have the background and the knowledge from Belgium in our case, and they transfer that to another context. And I also included cake and coffee, because they start to realize that if you go to field, if you have an excursion, there are different traditions in Denmark, because in Denmark you cannot have an excursion without cake and coffee, especially in the morning, which is something we never do. So now they ask me, Veerle, will you also bring cake and coffee on the next excursions that you organize with us? We send them into the fields, we drive by vans from Belgium to Denmark, and they organize everything by themselves. So they plan who is driving to where area, we will drop you off, we will pick you up there, we will take the train, but they map soils, they interview people, they stand on supermarkets and ask people to answer their questions. All the results are put together, which is kind of very stressful for them, because then they have to present their work to our academic peers in a big auditorium in the University of Roskilde with our colleagues from the university, and they really feel impressed, maybe a little bit like I'm at this moment now. And then after the fieldwork back home in Belgium, they put everything together in a research portfolio, and that is also the start for the next edition, because we ask them also to put new topics forward for the next groups of students. Third, we really try to tackle real-life topics, and we challenge them for that. I think the first time when we asked them, what is your topic of interest? They come with very general topics in geography, like climate change and flooding. And I want to study something about people that travel and that migrate, about mobility, about sustainability. But then we trigger them to think more deeply. Okay, but what do you want to do? The baseline of the university is there to think, and I think that is also what we try to do with them. And so we try to get them focused on really concrete local topics, and I put on the slide some of the variation of the topics that they studied, going from coastal vulnerability, for flooding, risk perception, sustainable mobility. You can read all the titles on the slides. But by doing this, they also get in contact with the local area and the people. 4, we are but a group of students. Most of the time it's like 25 to 30 students for lectures, but we are working in a different geography, different societal context, also different political context. So around the students we gather different types of actors. Of course, the partner universities of the University of Roskilde and Copenhagen that are crucial not only in the field but also before. On the left hand, you see that we collaborate with public institutions like the Geopark and the people that really know the area, but also the municipality. And then you think, yeah, but everything is in Danish. Yeah, but they talk English. And a lot of the documents are also available in English. And now you have a lot of tools to translate them. And the last one are the societal actors. The inhabitants, but it could also be farmers' association or nature managements or even politicians that they interview before online or otherwise also in the field. Or they visit a vineyard because they wanted to study the influence of climate change on vineyards in Denmark, for example. I think they not only studied but also tasted the wine early in the morning. The fifth one is that I think we really kind of, maybe not explicitly, but we combine a lot of diversity of skills for the students. And we asked, you see on the slides, we asked the students of the past 5 editions, like, what is your take-home messages? Or what were the skills that you now use still in your working field? And it's a big diversity. It also has to do with the concepts of the course, because we are going to an area where they have to cook themselves, we have to clean together, they have to go to the grocery with a limited budget to cook for 30 people, they take over the Instagram account, and you see that they have a lot of kind of the other entrepreneurial skills that are very valuable in the work field. So to summarize, I think this is a great course, and it's not only me, but also my colleagues and the students. And it's also something what we have been testing and doing already in other contexts. So it's also transferable to other courses, other degrees, other universities, combined with an online aspect. I want to give the last word to the students, because I think it's not us as teachers, but the students here they have the last saying. And we asked them what is the sweetest memory of the course. And the most beautiful one is the one in the middle, because they were saying, never get rid of this course. I can only agree with that. It's a very intensive course for us as teachers, but also for students. But when you see them years after, they still talk about it. And it's still not only the week, but the whole course. It's still one of the most memorable places, phases in their education. I think that's also what motivates us, like passing on the passion for academic research. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. And now over to the students. They have some questions for you. And yeah, within 5 minutes, you can answer these questions. So maybe introduce yourself, your university, and then go for the question.
Jacoba, I'm Sean de Burka from Lundsgaard-Hansen, the University of Galway. My first question is, are there any particular themes that students ordinarily are inclined towards in designing the content?
Yeah, that was a good question. Are there any topics? And then I think that most of the time they come with very general and large topics, like I'm interested in climate change and why people move from the remote area to the city. But then we try to get it more focused with a specific question, and I'm always surprised that they're not really inclined to do all again the same topic. Sometimes when they say, I want to study something about mobility, then I think, okay, again mobility. But they work a lot in cities and they have to transfer that to another area. So I think we kind of manage to also, put forward other topics or kind of compose the different topics with them. So I don't have the feeling that we are doing the same topics every year, also because we ask them to propose new things for the next editions.
Thank you. A second question. If resources were not a consideration, what do you feel should be added to the course?
I thought that's a question you can dream of. Imagine if you have endless resources. And I was thinking if I would ask that question to my students, they probably would say, let's stay just another week, because they like it. I think then we need a break in the middle to get some more oxygen and some rest, because it's very intensive. You could also say we move to a very expensive hotel where everything is handled for us and taken care. But I think that would just also remove parts of the concept. So to be honest, I think we can really do with the resources that we have. And if I would maybe do one thing, then I would try to find some colleagues, maybe in Chile or New Zealand, and then we could do it over there. But on the other hand, I think it's perfectly working like it is now. So we don't need more money for this, just more enthusiastic people. Yeah?
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now, last but not the least, is University of Groningen. So may I introduce the lecturer, and they can introduce the course. I'll put it up in a second.
Thank you. My name is Jacoba Oedzes. I am from the University of Groningen. And today I will talk about the course HR Analytics that I designed together with my colleague Stefan Berger. Yeah, ready? Okay, good. So yeah, in designing this course, we actually wanted to address two key challenges. The first challenge is that basically the labor market is really asking for people with data skills. And in the field of HR, that's HR data analytics. So we need to teach our students these skills. At the same time, our students are usually afraid of data. This is literally what they say, but they lack the confidence to, they think they won't be able to learn these very high-level technical analytical skills. So that's one challenge. And the second challenge we wanted to address, so you see this graph here. Research demonstrates that for people who work in an analytics field, to be able to have high job performance, they need to combine two types of skills. So the analytical, in this paper, that's the very technical skills, combined with a more human communicative skill of storytelling, because you have to be able to get your insights from your head to, for example, a boardroom. And only then you perform well. So we needed to combine these two very unique skills in this course. So two nice challenges, and how did we go about them? So challenge one, building confidence, we do this by taking small steps in this course. We follow this HR analytics project life cycle, and every week we address a different step with dedicated tutorials. But importantly, in these tutorials, what we do is discovery learning. So basically we tell the students, here's a challenge, just get started and see how far you get. And this demonstrates to the students that it's okay to fail at first, and it also demonstrates them that in an hour or 1.5 hours, they are actually able to teach themselves already a lot of the skills that they need to be able to do data analysis. Also, we make sure that these steps in this circle are nicely aligned with the project phases that the students are in, that they're working on at the same time, so they can also immediately apply what they learned in a practical sense. And then challenge two, what we do here is make it as real as possible for students, so that they are constantly aware that all the technical things that they have to do behind their computers also has to be translated in the end to real life impact and implications. This means that students form an HR analytics team, and we made a fictitious organization for them called Recovery Haven Network, where they work as HR analysts, and they have to advise the board of this organization. We also give them 7 data sets for this organization that we actually built from real data that the university collected in organizations. And of course, we can't share this information with the students, but we synthesize this data to create new data sets that look exactly alike. And the nice thing about this data is that it's highly imperfect. There's a lot of complexities, a lot of missing data, a lot of problems that you would also encounter in real-life HR analytics. What is also important to bring this challenge-based situation to life for the students is getting the external stakeholders in. So we ask HR professionals to role-play as board of directors. And so the last day of this course, the students all present their findings in a strategic manner to this board. And this board also engages with them, asks questions as if they were an actual board. And this high-stakes setting at the end of this course really brings everything to life. So we do challenge-based education here. And we collaborate a lot with these external stakeholders, which has many other benefits as well, like keeping your course attuned to what is really needed in the professional world. So what do the students think? Well, our course is consistently ranked among the top 5 courses in our faculty, which I think is an accomplishment because it's a statistical course, and usually students are not very happy with those. And I think the comments also demonstrate that we do a few things, like you can even get started without a programming background. We really take it from the beginning level and take these small steps upward. What I also like in the third comment here is that one of the students capitalized the word data, which I think shows how important they now think it is. So the course was also reviewed by peers. On a lot of the criteria, we also received a good score, but I think what is actually more important and nicer is that we have been asked to also present some of the aspects of our course to other people from other programs, and they adopt some of the things that we're doing as well. This also demonstrates the replicability of the course. Okay, I think one additional thing, so this is kind of the few-minute overview of what we're doing, but there's one additional highlight I think that is important here. So the students have to work as an HR analytics team. But I think as educators, we all know how student teamwork goes. Students come to you complaining that someone doesn't do a lot of the work, they have trouble coordinating their actions, etc. And so we also thought it was important to guide them a bit. And we asked one student, together with us, to go into the organizational behavior literature, and we together identified this role framework that we could give to students that helps them coordinate their collaboration and also develop team working skills while they're at it, basically. So I think, to conclude, what we do in this course is actually teach students a lot of skills that are transferable to a lot of situations. So the technical, the programming, the data analysis, etc., but also the strategic storytelling part. And how do you convince others with the data and with the evidence that you have? Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Yeah. And now it's again, the ball is back in the court of the students, of the student jury. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, thank you once again for your lovely presentation and wonderful course, truly. My name is Alexander Kremer and I'm from Uppsala University. My first question is related to the adaptability of the course. So we were wondering, over the years, have there been any particular changes to the course that you've noticed that students have appreciated more?
Yes, there have been. So I think two things. One is very surprising. The students asked us for more exams. So I think one thing that we do also very nicely in this course, didn't make it to the presentation, is that we have continuous low-stakes assessment. So there's a weekly exam for the students. And I thought they would hate me for this, but students really appreciated it because it keeps them on track. But what we didn't have was the technical exam at the end, testing their, technical data analysis skills. And we thought that would be well covered in the group work, doing their analyses, etc. But what you see is that, of course, some of the students take on the data analysis work and then the others don't learn it. And that also means that they're not well prepared for doing a master thesis later on where they have to do it. So they were actually asking for a way to integrate this better and to test everyone on that knowledge. So that's one. And the second thing is, I think, the teamwork thing that I already highlighted was also in response to students asking questions about, okay, so how can we improve our teamwork capabilities?
Thank you very much. My second question is a bit more of a personal question. Have you yourself seen or been inspired by any particularly creative or innovative methods or approaches to teaching? And if you wouldn't mind sharing, what are they?
Yeah, so also here, I guess, two things. One, a bit closer to the course. So what we do is use challenge-based education principles to create this challenge for the students to make it realistic as possible. But I think one thing that we're missing, a principle that we could include better here, is the meet the stakeholder principle that you have in challenge-based education, which would mean that we have to come up with a creative way for students to engage with the employees of the fictitious organization. I think that would be also a very cool addition. That's the course. But I think more broadly what I like, and what I would like to try out if I would ever design a new course, is I think more radical student engagement. So maybe have students develop their own courses in collaboration with a teacher, also develop the material. For this course we use our studio R4HR website, which has a lot of videos and stuff about how to do data analysis in R. But that doesn't exist yet for other programs, such as Stata. And there I thought it would be very nice to just together with students, for example, develop teaching material around this. That's both a great learning experience and I think a great resource for us as instructors as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And now we've heard from all of the 3 finalists. I'd like to thank both the finalists and as well the student jury members who made the time to come for this presentation. And an important announcement is that there is going to be presentations from all the other finalists at 2:30, from 2:30 to 3:30. Please do catch those presentations as well. And yeah, once again, a big thank you to the audience members who made it here this morning. And yeah, have an inspiring day at the conference today.